In Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Martin Arzola Ortega was born in 1976. Martin Arzola Ortega, better known by his alias L53, was a convicted Mexican cartel drug lord and former top official at the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. This was a criminal organization with its headquarters in Jalisco. He worked for Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, Nemesio, or Seguara. Welcome to CrimeFlicks. We're going to be looking at the life of Martin Arzola Ortega exclusively in today's video. So without further ado, let's get into it. In 1998, Ortega began his criminal career as a cargo truck thief before joining the Millennial Cartel, the organization that preceded the CJNG, when some of his superiors' lives were cut short and they were jailed. In 2010, he and other fugitive entities established the CJNG. This was the genesis of his tale. He got to this phase because of this fascination with the street persona and his need for money to support the lifestyle he had imagined. An organizational split in the criminal organization resulted from the security forces' execution of many Millennial Cartel members in the late 2000s. According to these murder inquiries, he was both the murderer and the mastermind. In order to combat La Resistencia, a rival organization of the CJNG, Ortega was responsible for commanding a crew of assassins in numerous areas throughout Jalisco. He was charged with carrying out this assassination by carefully picking out his victims. He used a network of police officials to provide insurance for his operations and facilitate his cake-related activities when they were least expecting it. In this manner, he can work freely without being bothered and under the protection of the local police division. He was charged by the SSP with overseeing CJNG's coke distribution throughout Guadalajara and the surrounding region. In addition, it was claimed that in order to avoid being discovered by his rivals, he reported directly to El Almencha, the presumed top leader of the CJNG. The name Ramon Franco Zavala was his alias. Other identities he used were El Gordo, El Senor, and El Negro. Arzola Ortega was taken into custody by the Mexican Federal Police on July 13th of 2011 at Tlajomulco de Zúñiga as a result of a significant operation carried out by the PF in the Guadalajara metropolitan region that was launched to capture him. They were able to safely apprehend him and detail him at the crime scene as a result of the operation's effectiveness. An Uzi 9mm handgun in a .38 Super was discovered by authorities. Several unidentified documents were named via a radio communication device. He was accused of engaging in trafficking, being part of unorganized crime, and having access to weapons only available in the military. Ortega was also captured alongside a companion, Lyman Eric Jose Alcazar Elias El Nino, who reports to Arzola Ortega, is in charge of delivering funds from criminal operations and locating members and safe houses held by La Resistencia. After being detained, Ortega was handed over to the Sub-Procurador. Delinquency organized crime investigators at Mexico's Old Organized Crime Bureau determined his legal standing. Ortega and Alcazar were wanted on current arrest warrants issued in August 25th of 2011, according to the Seattle Police Department. The Cedo Sayudo have long wished to dispose him and his criminal organization, and now is their chance. They, therefore, took it seriously. Arzola Ortega was placed under a 40-day preventative arrest order by a federal judge on July 19, 2011 for charges related to organized crime and illegal possession of a handgun. During this time, he was kept in the PG's care. Alcazar Lyman, one of his collaborators, was also subject to the same measure. Following the conclusion of the preventative detention, a federal judge mandated that both men be sent to prison on September 5th of 2011. The judge said that after the transfer was over, a trial against him would start. Ortega was transferred to the Federal Social Rehabilitation Center No. 1 in the state of Mexico's Almoyala de Juarez, also known as Altiplano Maximum Security Prison. Ortega received a sentence of 24 years in jail during the trial. He was undoubtedly heartbroken by the outcome of the court's ruling, which was made on December 9th of 2015 by a federal court located in Mexican state of Toluca. His charges included involvement in organized crime, trafficking in cocaine, and possession of weapons only available to the military. He was sentenced to the Federal Social Rehabilitation Center. Alcazar Lyman, the accomplice who was also apprehended with him, was found guilty on the same charge and sentenced to 13 years in prison, a term that was commensurate with the crimes that he committed. So what do you guys think about this so far? Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever new crime-related videos are posted. Moving on. Arzola Ortega, however, was given a sentence of 600 days at the minimum wage, which meant that he would pay $2,055 in fines. Alcazar Lyman was given a 300-day sentence at the minimum wage, or 1,028 days as fines. The court's punishment for Ortega didn't satisfy him. He spoke with his attorney, who gave him the assurance that more steps would be taken to see if he could receive a better sentence. The judge recognized that writs from imperil and other case revisions petitions were submitted by Arzola Ortega's defense team after his detention. His defense submitted a motion to several courts, but none of them granted it in his favor. With this outcome, the Toluca court decided to offer a resolution and delivered the sentence on March 28th of that year. Arzola Ortega and other prisoners at El Altiplano protested the price increase of potato chips and other hygiene products on paper at the federal prosecutor's office on behalf of consumers. According to the complaint submitted by the convicts, the price of 255-gram bag of Cheetos has jumped from $2.20 to $3.20 since October of 2017. A bag of Doritos now costs $3.30 instead of the previous $2.55 price. The fact that convicts had no other choice but to purchase the unhealthy food available at the prison store was another complaint made by the detainees and their relatives. They claimed it was unjust that the prison was setting the price and selling them due to the lack of food and the poor diet options supplied by the facility. They can purchase products at any price they want. Ortega, Alcazar, and other alleged CJNG members and straw people were targets of a judicial action launched by the PGR in 2017 to take their property. Ortega and Alcazar held two residences in Guadalajara, according to court records, which officials believe were bought with money from food sales. The first one cost 1.78 million Mexican pesos and was located in the Cruz del Sur area. The second home, which was located in the Vicente Guerrero neighborhood, was worth $876,250, or I assume, pesos. In late September of 2018, Ortega was allowed to leave prison, but at the time, no one was aware of the circumstances surrounding his release. When Ortega was released from prison, however, his defense team filed an appeal, which later confirmed by federal authorities. Ortega continued his criminal activity and joined the Millennial Cartel, a gang with Michoacan roots. Oscar Orlando Nava Valencia Elias El Lobo, the cartel's leader, had a cordial relationship with Cardinal Villarreal. A court ordered the case be revisited in 2016, and in 2018, an appeals court magistrate rejected the judge's decision. After determining the prosecutor's office lacked sufficient evidence to convict Arzola Ortega, the 24-year sentence was reinstated as a single criminal accusation. Since Ortega had previously served more than 4 years in jail, his conviction for unauthorized possession of a handgun carried a 4-year sentence. On July 31st, 2019, at 16:20, it was made available. Arzola Ortega was killed by gunmen in Carl's Jr. restaurant in Zapopan's Plaza, Galleria Small. Police reports state that two attackers entered the eatery and attacked Ortega, who was dining with his aunt and nephew. One of the shooters then started firing at the rest of the diners after taking his own life. While the shooter was firing at them, the patrons hid behind the tables. The attack left a number of victims injured. The press was informed by Macedonio Salomon Timez Guarellado, the security coordinator for Jalisco, that law enforcement personnel were on high alert for any potential violent responses from organized crime organizations. And that is all for today's video. Share your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if so, don't forget to like and subscribe to CrimeFlicks. Also, here are some amazing videos that I think you'll enjoy. Simply click on the left or the right video to watch it. Stay tuned for the next one, but until then, goodbye.